I had the power to write men up until they disappeared. I thought that made me strong. I thought watching them answer to me meant I'd won something. My name is Claire, and I'm 29 years old. 6 months ago, I was an HR rep at a distribution warehouse, convinced that men had it easy, that their complaints were just noise, that loneliness was something they invented to get sympathy they didn't deserve. Then my brother stopped showing up to work. And when I finally went to check on him, I found blackout curtains still sealed in their package, a drill he never used, and a search history that asked questions I should have answered when he was still alive to hear them. This is my confession. This is the story of how I learned that power without compassion isn't strength, it's just cruelty dressed up in professional language. And this is about the brother I failed because I was too busy believing men didn't deserve to be seen. I loved my job. Not because I was passionate about human resources or workplace culture, I loved it because in that warehouse, I got to be the one with power. Most of the workforce were men who spent 10 hours a day hauling boxes, backs breaking, hands bleeding from cardboard cuts and tape burns. They lifted, I decided. They complained, I reminded them I could write them up until they were gone. They hated it. And honestly, I loved being the one they had to answer to. I'd grown up watching women bend over backward for men who gave nothing in return. My mom worked 2 jobs while my dad sat on the couch. My sister's husband forgot her birthday 3 years in a row. Every woman I knew had a story about some man who took and never gave back. So when I got this position, when I realized I could make men answer to me for once, it felt like justice. Like evening the score. Like finally, women got to have the last word. I told myself they deserved it. Every write-up I issued, every complaint I dismissed, every time I watched them bite their tongue because they knew I could end their employment with a few keystrokes, it felt like power. And power felt good. Recently, I'd been hearing people say things like men are lonely these days or male mental health is a crisis. I didn't buy it. Not for a second. I'd look around that warehouse and think, every single one of them probably has someone texting, waiting, or nagging them. Especially nagging, since they were always complaining about women nagging. Lonely? Please. Men were everywhere. They took up space in every room, every conversation, every decision-making table. How could they possibly be lonely when they owned the whole world? I didn't understand yet that you can be surrounded by people and still be completely alone. That having coworkers isn't the same as having someone who actually knows you. I didn't understand because I didn't want to. Understanding would have meant admitting I was wrong. And I wasn't ready for that yet. One evening near the end of my shift, the door buzzer went off. I looked up from my laptop, annoyed at the interruption. It was Evan, my brother. He shuffled in still smelling like night shift, that particular combination of cardboard dust, industrial cleaner, and exhaustion that you can never quite wash off. He worked in parcel sorting. Same company, different department. He did the graveyard grind that no one else wanted, the shifts that destroyed your sleep schedule and your social life but paid just enough extra to make it worth slowly killing yourself. His hoodie was streaked with dust, hands cracked open from endless tape and cardboard. He looked like a guy holding his life together with string and sheer stubbornness. "Hey," he said, voice quiet. "You got a power drill I could borrow? Some anchors, tape measure?" "What for?" I asked, not looking up from my screen. "Need to hang blackout curtains in my studio. Landlord won't do it. Can't sleep with the sun coming through." I glanced at him properly then. Grocery bag with a sad sandwich visible through the plastic. Phone screen blank, no notifications, no texts lighting it up, just dead glass reflecting nothing. He used to be the funny one in our family, the one who'd make me laugh so hard at dinner that Mom would threaten to kick us both out. He'd do voices, tell stories, light up the whole room just by being in it. Now he talked less. Like every word cost him a shift he couldn't afford to miss. Like conversation was a luxury he'd learned to live without. But he still remembered my coffee order. Sometimes he'd leave one outside my office when he got off early, no note, just that small gesture that said I'm thinking of you even though he barely had the energy to think about himself. Truth is, I'd never seen him with a real friend at work. No group lunch invites, no weekend plans, no the guys he'd reference casually. Just him, alone, moving through his shifts like a ghost no one quite noticed. I'd always told myself it was by choice. Too many options. He was just picky. Selective. Men could only be alone because they wanted better, not because they had no one. That's what I believed. I smirked, waved him off. Have fun, bro. He gave me a half smile. Quiet, tired, like that was enough conversation for both of us. For a second, just a second, I almost asked if he was doing okay. But no. He was a man. Men were the last people on earth who should get to say they're not fine. Half the world bends over backwards for them already. My calendar pinged. Reminder, Men's Wellness Week kickoff at 2 p.m. I rolled my eyes and told Evan I'd check in later. He tapped the drill case, nodded, and left for the bus. Before turning down the hall, he asked over his shoulder, "You eating dinner tonight?" I waved him off without looking up. Yeah. Don't worry about me." Boots squeaking down the hall, gone before I could even reopen my inbox. I didn't know those would be the last words I'd say to him while he was still trying. Back at my desk, I saw the note from the HR lead, "Prepare slides for Men's Wellness Week. Focus on stress, coping, outreach." I groaned out loud. Seriously? The first time this company does something like this and it's for men? We're the ones who need support programs, not them. But whatever. Paycheck said I had to do it. I spun in my chair, tapping my pen against my teeth. I'd built plenty of decks before: stress management for women, anti-harassment training, work-life balance seminars. Easy stuff. Stock photos and bullet points about journaling and deep breathing. The bosses ate it up every time. Men's mental health. What a joke. I started Googling, expecting fluff about yoga and stretching and diet tips. Instead, I tripped over numbers that made me freeze mid-scroll. Suicide rates. Men 4 times more likely than women. I scrolled back up like maybe I'd misread. But it was right there in black and white. 4 times. Most of them under 40. Some younger than Evan. My chest tightened before I even realized it. That can't be right. I clicked another site. Then another. CDC, World Health Organization, psychology journals. All the same graph, all the same ugly slope: men dying, dropping off faster than women, lines crossing where they shouldn't. I even copied the stat into my notes and reread it. Like repetition might shrink the number. Images flickered through my head without permission: Dad falling asleep at the table when I was 12, coffee gone cold in his hand. Guys at the warehouse slumped over lunch trays, half their meals untouched. Evan with his cracked hands and dust-streaked hoodie. But no. Not him. He was just tired from nights. That's all. He still brought me coffee. Still remembered my order. Suicidal? Please. He was fine. I sat back, crossed my arms, started inventing explanations. Men are reckless. That's all. They drink too much, drive too fast, pick fights, climb scaffolding without harnesses. Of course they die more. It's not sadness, it's stupidity. And even if some of them felt lonely, wasn't that their own fault? Women did the emotional labor every single day. If men couldn't manage their feelings, maybe they shouldn't be trusted with them. I kept scrolling. Another article mentioned that many men die without anyone noticing until they're gone. That sentence stuck like a splinter. I sat there a minute, screen glow cold on my face. Then I scoffed under my breath. Figures. Men can't handle pressure. I clicked to the next tab, already deciding I'd keep the slides light. A few bullet points about meditation. Maybe a picture of a guy in a suit smiling with a salad. No need to overthink it. They wanted Men's Wellness Week. They'd get Canva clip art and recycled talking points. Next morning, I'm in the break room pouring burnt coffee. A couple of the HR girls are scrolling their phones, laughing at memes. I sit down, still thinking about last night's stats. I say it like small talk, testing the waters. Saw something wild yesterday. Men are 4 times more likely to, check out. They snorted immediately. Please. Men lonely? They've got wives, girlfriends, hookups, apps. Yeah, half my DMs are guys begging for attention. Real isolated, huh? I shrug, push back once. But these were CDC numbers. Most under 40. Some younger than my brother. They go quiet for a second. Then one scoffs. That's not loneliness. It's recklessness. Booze, cars, fights. Classic male ego. I try again. What if it really is loneliness, though? They burst out laughing. Girl, don't go soft on us. You sound like a pick-me. I force a laugh too. Sip the bitter coffee. Tell myself they're right. Men aren't lonely. They're just dramatic. If they were really desperate, we'd notice. That night, my phone buzzes. 10:30. It's Evan. First thing out of his mouth isn't about himself. It's, you doing okay? You sounded stressed last time we talked. I roll my eyes even though he can't see it. I'm fine. Just swamped. He pauses. Then, you want to grab dinner? Been a while since we ate together. Can't. Meeting the girls later. Plus I've got leftovers. Silence. Then he types something, deletes it. Finally, yeah. Just didn't want to sit at the counter by myself again. Something about that sentence makes my stomach twist. But I push through it. You'll be fine. Next time. His reply comes quick. Thumbs up emoji. And that's it. I set the phone down and tell myself it doesn't mean anything. He's a grown man. He can handle a skipped meal. Presentation day. I stand in front of 30 warehouse guys in safety vests, shoulders slumped from a night of lifting. Projector hums. Slides glow in cheerful pastel colors. Men's Wellness Week, I announce in my practiced HR voice. Subtitle I wrote, Healthy Habits, Happy Mind. I smile wide. Sometimes all it takes is setting aside 5 minutes a day for gratitude journaling. A few shift in their seats, eyes half closed from overtime. Or try making a vision board. Pictures of where you see yourself in 5 years can be powerful motivation. Blank stares meet me back. I click to the next slide. Stock photo of a guy in a polo shirt meditating on a beach. Mindfulness can reduce stress by up to 60%. Next time you're feeling overwhelmed, pause, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Someone in the back mutters something I don't catch. A couple heads bow like they're hiding smirks. I press on. Diet matters too. Trade fast food for a colorful salad. You'll be amazed at the difference. Image of a man grinning at a bowl of lettuce fills the screen. Chairs creak. One guy rubs his forehead like he'd rather be anywhere else. Then a hand rises. Voice rough, cracked. What if you go home and nobody would notice if you didn't come back? The room goes still. Every eye locked on me. My throat tightens. No slides for this one. I force a smile, choke out, well, that's why prevention matters, right? Click to the next bullet before he can speak again. Eyes follow me. Hollow. Like they're waiting for something I'll never give. I wrap up with my closer, remember, balance is key. Your health is your strength, and strong minds build strong teams. No applause. The air feels heavier than when I started. I tell myself it went well. But something feels off. My inbox floods with responses after the presentation. Management practically throwing confetti. Great kickoff. Excellent delivery. Strong messaging. I lean back in my chair, smirk to myself. Didn't even try that hard. Then Monday morning comes. I'm half asleep at my desk, eyes glazed on the flood of attendance flags. One jumps out, employee, Evan Carter. Consecutive no-shows, 3 days. My stomach dips, but I brush it off quick. Graveyard guys skip all the time. Shifts eat them alive. I click pending follow-up. Move on to the next file. Tell myself it doesn't matter. He's probably just sleeping it off. Wednesday, it's back. Read this time. Supervisor note attached, tried calling. No answer. Address check requested. I exhale sharp. Annoyed. HR paperwork means I'll have to log it. Maybe drive down myself. He could have at least texted me if he was blowing off shifts. I grab my jacket, mutter I'll handle it, and drive over. Street's too quiet for mid-morning. His building looks the same, paint peeling, blinds drawn tight. I knock. Wait. Nothing. Knock again. Harder. Silence. Chest tightens. Phone slick in my hand. I call the landlord, who shows up 10 minutes later with the super trailing behind. Keys jangle. Door opens. First thing I notice, blackout curtains still sealed in their package. Drill unopened on the counter. Second, his phone lying face up on the table. A dozen missed calls stacked on the lock screen. Most of them from me, from work, from the automated shift reminder system. Third, the air. Heavy. Unmoving. Like the place itself gave up. We step inside. Sink full of dishes crusted over. Sandwich wrappers piled by the trash. Coffee cups lined like soldiers on the counter, each one emptied and abandoned. Laundry basket half folded. Shirts stacked but never put away. A list on the fridge in his messy handwriting. Buy anchors. Call dentist. Try meetup. Text sis. That last one circled twice. Pen marks carved into the paper. The super coughs, eyes low. We move toward the back room. And there he is. Still. Quiet. Like he just lay down after shift and never got back up. On the floor near the bed, an orange pill bottle tipped over. Tablets scattered across the carpet. Some crushed under his heel. Label peeled, dosage unreadable, like he didn't care what it was anymore, just wanted it gone. My legs lock. I can't cross the doorway. Just stand there, eyes darting everywhere but him. A snapped drill bit on the floor, like he'd tried and given up halfway. A bottle of cologne, unopened, on the dresser. A folded flyer on his desk, community board game night, $5 entry. Creases worn into it like he'd picked it up, pocketed it, maybe thought about going. But didn't. It hits me, I've never heard a single name from him that wasn't work-related. No best friend, no old teammate, no girl he was seeing. I thought it was because he had standards, too many choices, playing it selective. His phone sits on the desk. Screen awake, no lock. Cheap cracked Android he never bothered to secure. In the search bar, how to make friends after 30. Another, is it weird for men to eat alone? An unsent draft in his messages to me, you free for dinner? Cursor blinking like it's waiting for me to give him an answer. My throat closes. But no tears come. The funeral's small. Quiet. A rented chapel room with beige walls and folding chairs that squeak when people sit. Coffee and paper cups on a side table. Cookies no one touches. Most of the crowd are warehouse guys, shirts wrinkled, boots scuffed but clean just enough. They sit stiff, hats in their laps, eyes on the floor. One by one, they drift up to me. Awkward. Like they're clocking in. His supervisor, never missed a shift. Always stayed late if we asked. A neighbor mumbles, he fed my cat once when I was away. Offered him cake after, but he said nah. Polite kid though. Another guy from the floor, he'd cover swaps. No complaints. Don't meet many like that. The pattern sinks in. Every story the same. He did the right thing always. But no one really knew him. Just the outline of a man who showed up, worked, went home. I force myself near the front, arms crossed tight, pretending to hold together. I can't look at the framed photo on the table. It's him years ago, backyard barbecue, sun in his eyes, holding a soda can like it was a joke. The version of him I'd been pretending still existed. A gray-haired coworker lingers beside me. Clears his throat. You know, he says softly, most men go their whole lives without anyone hugging them. Unless it's their mom when they're little. Sometimes not even then. The words knock the air out of me. I try to laugh it off. Is that really true? He just shrugs. Depends if someone notices before the casket closes. Then he pats my shoulder once, like punctuation, and walks off. The room empties slow. Men filing out, boots dragging, hands shoved in pockets. No speeches, no wailing. Just silence thick enough to choke on. Like grief isn't something they know how to share. Only carry. I stay behind, staring at the photo, the folding chairs, the half-empty coffee cups. The weight of every invite I brushed off pressing harder now. Late dinners. Coffee runs. Just didn't want to sit at the counter by myself again. All the little chances he gave me that I treated like nothing because I thought men weren't supposed to need anyone. My phone buzzes in my pocket. HR email. Subject line, attendance policy updates. I almost laugh. Like his whole life was just another flag in the system waiting for me to click resolve. But there's no drop-down menu for this. No file to close. Just the silence he left behind. 2 weeks after the funeral, I'm back in my office. Inbox stacked, coffee cold. A knock at the doorframe makes me look up. It's one of the floor guys I'd written up last month for attendance. Hands jammed in his hoodie pocket, eyes fixed on the carpet. He clears his throat. Mumbles, just wanted to say thanks for that wellness thing you did. I blink, caught off guard. His voice barely above a whisper, like he's embarrassed to say it out loud. I know it wasn't much, but it was something. So. Yeah. Thanks. I paste on my HR smile. Of course. That's what the program's for. He nods too quick. Mutters yeah, then shuffles off, boots dragging like he regrets even opening his mouth. Silence fills the doorway after he's gone. I lean back. Exhale through my nose. Men really are desperate for someone to notice them. And all I gave them was Canva clip art and salad stock photos. Funny how even scraps look like a meal when you're starving. Later that day, 2 guys stand by the vending machine. Voices low, shoulders sagging like the machine itself is holding them up. One says, Travis missed again. 3rd time this month. The other shakes his head. Ever since his girl left, man just goes home to nothing. Empty place, beer, and a chair. They fall quiet after that. Like the words way too much to carry further. I stir my coffee louder than I need to, pretending not to listen. But the words stick anyway. Empty place. Nothing. I remember how every call with Evan started with "You good?" And how I always snapped back, "I'm fine. Focus on yourself." Like his concern was just another chore I didn't have time for. The stat flickers in my head again. 4 times more likely. I swallow it down. Sip the burnt coffee. Tell myself it's just gossip. But I know better now. When people ask about Evan now, I say the right things. How proud I was that he worked so hard. How I even ran the company's first men's wellness week while he was alive. Like I'd done my part. Like that was enough. I don't mention the missed dinners. The unanswered calls. The "you'll be fine" I said when he told me he didn't want to sit at the counter alone. I just say I tried. and most days, I almost believe it. But late at night, when the apartment's too quiet and I can't sleep, I think about that search history. How to make friends after 30. Is it weird for men to eat alone? And the unsent message, you free for dinner? I think about the women in the break room laughing at the idea that men could be lonely. I think about my presentation, about vision boards and salad and breathing exercises, and how a man asked me what happens when no one notices you're gone. I think about how I had all the power in that building. How I could write men up, make them answer to me, decide their fates with a few keystrokes. And none of that power helped me see that my own brother was dying right in front of me. The truth I've learned, the one that keeps me awake, is this: men are lonely. Desperately, quietly, lethally lonely. And we don't notice until they're gone because we've convinced ourselves they don't deserve to be seen. We tell them to be strong, to handle it, to focus on themselves. We mock their pain and call it privilege. We see their silence and call it emotional unavailability instead of what it really is, learned helplessness after years of being told their feelings don't matter. Evan died surrounded by coworkers who knew his face but not his name. In a building full of people who never asked if he was okay. With a sister who had all the power in the world but never used it to see him. I can't bring him back. I can't undo the dinners I skipped or the texts I dismissed or the countless times I chose my comfort over his need to be seen. But I can tell you this: if there's a man in your life who seems fine, who never complains, who just quietly shows up and does what's expected, check on him. Not because he's earned it. Not because he's proven he deserves it. But because he's human, and humans aren't meant to be alone. Even the ones we've been taught don't need anyone. Especially them. If this story resonated with you, please share it. And if you know someone who might need to hear it, man or woman, send it to them. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is admit we didn't see what was right in front of us. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the uncomfortable truths we need to face.